They think they can manipulate this. I'm waiting. I'm not going to preempt. I've already done my preempt, force their hands. I'm waiting. Even this cartel business in the Gambia, they have their hands in it. These people control this, and this is the distortion of the wealth in the country. That's why we have to be careful. With all this, there's not empathy from Barrow. Barrow doesn't have empathy. No. The guy doesn't care about governance. It's all about himself. The guy you've never seen Barrow get angry or agitated because of things are not going right for the country. It's when things doesn't go right for him. Oh, someone said something to me. Oh, Dr. Sise said this thing to me. Oh, Senator Darboe said this thing to me. Or this person said this thing to me. That's what this is. He's never... Look at the situation in our hospitals. Situation everywhere. Joblessness, the floods, drinking water. People that voted, most communities that voted, they still don't have a vote. But guess what? This corrupt Senegalese wrestlers who are nothing for that matter. These people, Sonko spoiled their business because of the advocacy of Sonko, putting sense into the youths. Go and look at wrestling right now. They have nothing. Now they have a problem. Now Macky Sall, who was giving them money, is not giving them money. Now they don't know who's going to come out. They don't know now. They don't know the prime minister is going to come out. Who is going to come out as the front runner? They are broke. Now what would they do? Let's go to Barrow. Let's go to Gambia. And you know, as most of these people say, Gambia, Conley, Elwin. Then you're them directly. And Barrow sitting there, they push his ego as he thinks he's the man. When these people are laughing at him, they're not laughing with him, giving stories, accepting audience from these people for what? Same thing Yahya Jammeh used to do. And I tell you, you know when Yahya Jammeh was doing it? Yahya Jammeh was doing it and controlling opinion in Senegal. Not in this case. It was not right. But Yahya Jammeh, for him, he was getting something out of it. But Gambians now is forced. We witnessing this. It's not something he's putting into the youths, not into women, men, the maternities, incubators, and everything. He doesn't care about that. He cares to give for the government to give MPs vehicles. Do you know why? So that he can control the MPs. Check. You know what's happened in Senegal? When Macky Sall gave MP the vehicles, he didn't get what he have. He stopped this time around, he didn't give any vehicles. That's why we should be very careful and understand what is at play here. Look at the corruption. It's sad. Ibrahim Silla is coming out saying that, oh, because they don't have sand, the projects. That's not true, Ibrahim. Sand? You cannot have sand. You know the projects pay more for a trip of sand than ordinary Gambians. And we all know, most of us have been buying sand. Do we ever have scarcity of sand? How come the contractors who have scarcity of sand, who would pay more to be supplied than this? It's a lie. Do you know what the fact is? A company called Gambisara. Gambisara, a company, I forgot the name of the person who front it because of Barrow. Yes, I am accusing Barrow. He has control over that Gambisara company. That company you never heard of, road construction company, Gambisara, you never heard of. Because of the person who was a vendor or something, Barrow used it to get one of the bits. The other company that shared the same bit with Gambisara is called Pickford or something like that. It's a Sierra Leonean company. Again, doesn't have the capacity. And guess what? That person bribed kickbacks to borrow $50,000. It might be more than that. Before the elections. And other ministers and other people got their share. That's why that person cannot deliver it. That's why that Brufut end and other ends, that's the truth. And most of it, now what they're doing, they're cutting corners. The other bit is they're trying to get funds to continue it. Because of this, why Ibrahim said they will not call these two companies. Go and see whether the government will reference these two companies. And watch what you're going to hear about these two companies. And if that road is completed, probably another company will do it. or more money, you'll hear that more money have been borrowed to do it. Now this is the situation we have. Now why are we Gambians fixated or allowing Barrow to continue on this? And I said, this is not about UDP. This is not about Youngs. This is about justice. This is about democracy. This is about stability of our country. If we allowed, we see what is happening in West Africa. We see what's happening in Senegal. The joblessness, youth population, and or the cost of living. Gambians are hurting as other countries. And people who are saying, yeah, everywhere is hurting. But those governments are doing something about it. There are programs done for people who can less this thing and so on, and now they're trying to work onto their economy. Things are going different. The American economy is recovering in many aspects. UK is recovering in many aspects. Energy prices started to drop, and other things started. Inflation started to be controlled, and others. What's this government doing? They bankrupt you, and it's still they're continuing. And the same government now, because they want more money from the EU, and they don't want to continue to take the responsibility, or the ministers are the one who decided the Ɓagué boys to come back. Now they're going to Parliament for Parliament to pass it. Yeah, to pass it, to make it easier so that they get more money. That money EU give them, where is it? These are things we should not need to talk about. Then my advice to UDP is, I am not saying that you are so responsible to fight. This is the responsibility of any democratic loving Gambians, any patriotic Gambian to be part of this fight. But you have ultimate responsibility. And it will first start with shut your internal democracy out. This impending wrangling with you can come out in the open to deny it. But we all know this as a fact. We all know this as a fact. That there are many ambitious people, and which is so right, which should even be admired that many people want to run for the party because of they believe that the party have something to give, or the party have chances to win. That the UDP need to settle that. If not, it's a weakness that the government will exploit. 2, the UDP need to be proactive and learn from, as I said, why PASTEF is still relevant. You need to have people to talk about the economy. You cannot have your so-called, your campaign manager, Modi Sabali, just to be going and, no. I'll tell you, Modi Sabali might impress most of you, but listen to most of information Modi Sabali gives. Quarter of it is about Modi Sabali. And some information next minute is even about APRC, because his records are bound with APRC. This is a fact. And how much does he have to give people? It's Basin. But look at the message too. How much hope does he give to other people who are non-UDP? Is he communicating to non-UDP? Or is he holding onto these APRC records and he's holding to the UDP base? This is why I said you have to really look at your communication. And especially with this crisis, Brother Youngs have to really be measured, and people supporting Brother Youngs need to be measured, because they are going to try to exploit that. Try to alienate you guys and make you stand out as a violent people, as they say. I am not saying you should not be assertive, you should not be, do everything the things, but be careful how you message it. And you'll be going to be provoked. And be proactive. There's a lot of things that are going to come out, and you have to know how to handle them. Communication will be key here. They are not trying to win this case in the courts only. I wonder if the thing of taking the courts is to keep you busy, delay you, and have try to exploit a weakness of your react. How you're going to react, alienate you, and distract you, and the people will just be talking about this, and there will be no hope, and people will not have hope. Because they're getting ready for any other person to put their head above the parapet. Then UDP, you guys need to talk about this economy. And this is constant. Every other day, this thing. It's not one person. The last time I saw some Dr. Lamin Mane, he's the most impressive person you can ever have. I mean, he came out and talked about the recycle. I tell you, he has the attention of non-UDP than any other UDP person have ever done. The other time I had Kotola Sise, I think twice also on the radio. I mean, Peter Gomez. These are people, they know their stuff, they are measured, and non-UDP will listen. And you have many other people within your ranks. About the healthcare, these are things you need to do. Whatever foot the government puts wrong, get them out. And that's what 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 did. And not only that, tell us exactly, find many ways of saying it. Especially when you went and exposed government, say that this is what we should be, this is how it should have been done. And the other thing is work on your MPs, how they're going to deal with the issues coming before them. There are many things that you guys need to do. And if you take this if you are not proactive and looking at the areas I am pointing at, I am telling you, they know these are the things they're looking at. But again, I'm not saying that you are so responsible for it. It's all Gambians. That's why I am out here. I came back from work. If it's not this about the Young's case and how these things, I would not have come out today. I was going to rest. But these are the times you look at to do the extra bit. Guys, thank you very much. I've just got the hour over 1 hour. But we'll follow this thing. And I promise there's more to come on this drug cartel network. If it's done properly, I don't see it being done properly. I can tell you, if it's done properly, Barrow government will come down. That's why they are not telling the nationals and who the political buying, the economic, money laundering. If they do that, Barrow is going to come down. That's why I don't see it coming. They're doing it properly. They're doing it properly. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good evening. Thank you. Of SISDG is more powerful than a minister, or most state ministers. Do you know why? If it's money you want, you have money. Because of your budget is not audited. And you have a lot of powers to use. Not only that, you are one of the few that can walk in straight away and speak to the president. One of the few. Ministers will have to go through the Secretary General or someone else. Now they have the Chief of Staff or whatever you call it. The president, you are one of the few that probably will speak to the president last, and when the president wake up, you are the first that he will speak to. Now, ask yourself, why did you go to cabinet? I'll tell you this, that's why I'm saying, when he went to cabinet, what position, why do you think he was not sent to Interior or Defense, but local government? Do you know local government is not about the lands, it's about the local governance. These mayors, this chairpersons, who are they under? Ousmane Sow, because Ousmane Sow is ready to do what is supposed to be done. Most other appointees will be very careful to do what they need to do. Ousmane Sow will be ruthless and do it. Because of they first, their arrangement, they first identify someone, a businessman. But now, doubts, this is succession planning. This is problem with succession planning. Their doubts are cropping up. The minute the people within believe and know that Barrow is very likely to go. Look, if Barrow did not go, it's because of a lot of other things that he is scared of going. That he didn't have anyone to trust. But for now, he's ready for this thing. And the reason I'm saying this, caveating this, is because the first person they propose now, he's having 2 minds on that. Now, it's us. This is an analysis. Let me say this. This is not a fact. It's us. What I analyze here is says that he's putting Ousmane Sow into cabinet. Because he will not want his SIS to come from SIS, this thing to replace. But all the arrangements, even the appointment of VP is done because of the VP would not run for elections. He's not interested in elections. He doesn't have what it takes to run for elections. He's not that type of person. That's why Barrow said he don't like someone with ambition. It's not his choice. No, the handlers, that's what they told him, no, we have to do it this, we have to do it this. Before the elections, that they agree that if Barrow wins, this thing they were planning. And that's why when Barrow won, those UDP guys who were with Barrow, the people that used to go there to flex their muscles, assertive, alkali contest and so on, saying that yeah, they made Barrow, they were all moved away. They moved them out. They left the Mbojong Bojos, Dusanos and Lamin Chams and others running around for crumbs. That's what they did. Now the situation have reached to a place that one, Usman Sow is going in to cabinet, but he's not going to last. And what this power, I don't think they'll change it because Ben Chua said it. I'll tell you that. My analysis, again, this is analysis. Usman Sow is going to go to do this job. You know Musa Dramé. I'll tell you one thing. You know, one other thing that Musa Dramé fell out about, it's not only because of Musa Dramé cheated Barrow on certain deals. No. That's why I said even the local government minister, one day just removed. He was going to be removed. He was not going to be sacked. He was going to be removed. But these things came up. And he have to be sacked. He was going to be removed for Sow to come in. Because Musa Dramé, for Barrow, he's mishandled the case of Talib to decapitate Talib Bensouda. They blame Musa Dramé for not doing it properly. They blame Musa Dramé, saying that Musa Dramé was kind of empathetic because of there's a relationship between Musa Dramé. What I mean about relationship, I mean there's a good cordial relationship between Musa Dramé family and this thing family. I'm not saying that they're related, but this is what they say. And they said true that that's why, whether it's true or not, but this is what these are one of the things. But Sow would do, because of Sow knows that they are working on a project, and for the project to stand, these are things that are necessary to be done. He has to come in and do it. This is why they took him out from SIS and in there. I can tell you, I don't know who's good. They're going to appoint at SIS, but whoever it is, Sow is going to determine that person's appointment, and Sow is going to have control of SIS. The reason is he has to come and do this job, not to get someone else to do it, because they believe that he believes that he can do it. But again, not that he will have to be in that side of cabinet. Already, they are trying to get every angle that Barrow is controlled for them to speak, to control that. This is their strategy. Janks is just part of the pawn. Others it's going to happen. There are people who are not even in UDP. They're already sounding out because they fear those people. If they come out as a candidate, they looked at it and said, what will happen though if we dismantle UDP? What I'm saying here is a fact. That bit is not an analysis. It's something they strategize on, thinking that if we dismantle UDP, we might create a situation that someone might come and galvanize support. And because of they believe that they have managed and destroy UDP, that UDP is seen as tribalist, seen as violence. They might not be able to do that to that person, and now they're looking out for that person. Who is that person likely to come? And if they identify that person, they'll do everything to break that person as well. Because they're expecting that UDP would implode because of the candidature of UDP is going to be a problem. But let's add it. Let's play them up. Let's go for them. Let them. This is what is happening here. Now, for a government to go to make sure you don't have an opposition, just as Macky Sall did, that's what dictatorship is. And a country without an opposition cannot function. A democracy will not function without opposition, a viable opposition for that matter. But they will have opposition because they will have non-viable opposition, as they did to CA. Now I can tell you that Dr. Cisse is regretting what he's done. They've manipulated him, they damaged him. Because they saw Dr. Cisse could have been promising. But Dr. Cisse, because he's not true to himself, this is what they're going to try to do other people. But if those people resist, they'll try other means of damaging them. Just as when Sonko prevailed to Senegalese. They did everything to destroy Sonko. Now this is the situation we have. Now, if South completes what he does, probably South would be moved from there to interior or to defense. Or even 6 months to elections, vice president. This, as I said, there are some of these things are analysis, which I emphasize in some of the areas, but others I know of facts. And I mean, not blowing my own trumpet, but people know I am trained to know things. That's why I know things. I've never said something that I said I'm certain and became, it became wrong. No. Because I am certain. Not Jammeh time, not Barrow's time. Anything I said, it happened, it come out true. If I say it's an analysis, I'll tell you, if it did not happen, you can see most of, you can see the reasoning I use. Because I insulate myself from all those biases. And I have the experience to do these things. And this is where we're going. And I said succession is a difficulty. You see, Ali Bongo, this is what has happened to Ali Bongo. Because of Ali Bongo knew that he's not in charge. But succession plan, because he's trying to get his own son to succeed. But the son doesn't have the political or whatever, these things, and he already fall out with the person who was supposed to be the succession, that was his brother-in-law, pushing that person even to be in the opposition. Now, this is where it ends up. Now, Gambia, we are at a situation that our economy is bankrupt. We are at a situation that there's nothing that works in that country. But because of these people that cemented Barrow, the word I use cemented is, yes, because people identify that, because of Ousainou Darboe, and they give confidence for Barrow to defy the MOU. People will understand that when that happened, UDP came and stood with Barrow. That's a fact. But I can tell you the other fact, what precedes that is, from Dakar, when this thing, he already planned to do this. Again, when I was saying this, I have witnesses here. Alaji Fode with my witness, because he's followed me since day one. When I was ranting, putting into UDP, read the game. Barrow is already listening. No. And I'm telling you again, if you don't read this game, Gambia, we are going to suffer. Gambia have to read this game. This is only not for UDP, it's Gambia. These people want to take over everything. They're controlling everything for that matter. The Gum petroleum crisis, every other crisis, I'll tell you, if you go behind it, these people are behind it. I can tell you the cartel, that's why I said I'm following this case. They think they can, and they'll be going to courts in and out, here, and the time they know it, there's no resources left for UDP, there's no energy left for UDP, they're disintegrated and everything. That's one. But if they have the chance, if any case goes through the court and they have an opportunity, they will use the maximum this thing given to discussion, given to the judge or their selected magistrates. They will use it. I'll tell you that. Let's be ready for that. Let's be ready for that. Now, let's concentrate back on Yanks. I'm saying this is what they plan. Now, when they knew that Yanks would now got in, now they got that Yanks got in. Now, what do they have to do? Now, let's go for the case. One, the case will be used to distract him. Distract him, but not only to distract him. I'll tell you one thing. NPP knows everything that runs inside UDP. And UDP are always gullible. Anybody that go join UDP, or some of them have been with UDP for a long time, or so-called some of their family members within government, they trust them. They trust them, and I keep on telling them this. They trust them. And these are the people who are the double agents. Now, they know everything that's going on. That's why UDP have to sort themselves out first. If not, they'll be in disarray again. Now, they know from their intelligence or whatever it is that youngs have an ambition to run for elections. They know that Rahilo have an ambition to run for election. They know Talib Bensouda have an ambition to run for election. They know Lamin Sani have an ambition to run for election. They know a lot of other people have ambitions to run for elections. They know that. They know that all these people name, or most of the people, most of them who have ambitions within the UDP now are rivals against themselves. They're expecting that when they start to pick on youngs, it will start to pull apart. They're expecting, this is what they're expecting, that when they go for youngs now, the others will start to stand back and say, okay, one out. You see, divided. There are multiple things they're trying to do with this. They're trying to do this. One, they will exhaust the resources of the UDP, going to court, mobilizing, running around and getting tired before election. Take this team out of them. Get the resources out of them. Take them to the court. Delay it as much as possible. Then they bang it on this. Two, they're expecting the rivalry between all the potentials. I've just named about 4 or 5. These are the well-known. I can tell you they are far more. And they know this. And they have a belief that Lawyer Darboe is going to run. They have a belief that too. Now, you see, this is what they're playing at. This is what they're playing at. The time they finish with youngs, they will be going for the others, and UDP will be in complete disarray. But the other thing is which they will bring out later is how to make Gambians, to insulate UDP out and make Gambians to see UDP as the enemy and everything, and we forget about their corruption, the cost of living and everything else. And concentrate on, UDP, and make us to be scared of UDP, because they anticipate that UDP will react. And they will, that reaction, they will say is violence, they are insulting this, they will provoke UDP, and they will know how to provoke them. They know that's why UDP have to be very careful. This is the game plan they played for Sonko. So Sonko is violent, this. But then average Senegalese know it's not true. Because the average Senegalese are aware or positive. This is again what I'm telling the UDP. By now you have been continuing to talk about everything in the country. This is what Pastef was doing. That's why so much of people that believe in Pastef believe in something, not believe in Sonko alone. When they say Sonko, they say a project. Because of the project, Sonko tells them. When now, what is happening if you say UDP, Ousainou Darboe, what else? Do we hear about this 5-point plan anymore or anything? No. This is now, that's what they want to do. This is the reason today that Sonko is even in prison. But if elections was held and he was allowed to run, he will win. That's why Macky Sall is in difficulty, because of they played something. They have tried everything. But UDP, if they're not careful, these are the strategies they will play. They played it last elections. They'll come and provoke. Your internal wranglings might come into it. These are all the things they're planning. But you see, that's not against UDP. That's against Gambia. And in fact, it's not good for even Barrow himself. Because, when democracy is undermined, that's where you see these coup d'etats, or you see an uprising and other things. Our economy is so hurting. Our debt burden is killing us. That's why they say they cannot that they want to reduce this, but no, the ego of Barrow cannot help him. He has to go and sponsor a wrestling match for Senegalese. We'll come to that. Now, this is what they're trying to do. These court cases, that's what they're trying to do. And guess what else? You know the reason Ousmane Sow is brought into cabinet. I saw someone wrote, because of Ousmane Sow fell out with Barrow, that's why he took him out of his eyes. That's crap. Or he wanted to sack him. That's crap. I tell you one thing today. If anyone got to be tested, their relationship with Barrow is Ousmane Sow. I am not basing it on something I was told. I'm basing it on the evidence that is available. Ousmane Sow have made Barrow wealthier than any other person have contributed in making Barrow wealthy. I'll tell you that for now. And Barrow ambitions is more about wealth than rule. He's bored. He's not interested in governance. What is interested in wealth? And Ousmane Sow have given him enough of that. I'll give you one example. Something called the Islamization project that Yahya Jammeh was doing. That's what brought the OIC projects. Yahya Jammeh applied for this. It was a strategy. And Ousmane Sow came and identified. First thing that Ousmane Sow did for Barrow is to guarantee him that if UDP is not going to back you for two terms or wherever it is, I will get APRC around you. Barrow will tell you, what Fabaka. You think Barrow is just to be what Fabaka said? No, Barrow did that on purpose. He will not tell you what Ousmane Sow did for him or Dr. Ousmane Sow about. Ousmane Sow played the greater role than anybody else. You can talk about Sidi Njai and others. Ousmane Sow is more versatile, more strategic position than anybody else. This is the reason why Ousmane Sow went to the TRRC, testified the last day. Barrow, as a president, went to Ousmane Sow's house to felicitate with him. One, he played a role to get Barrow consolidation. Two, he is the person, in fact, who undermined the security sector reform, reassuring Barrow that so-called Jammeh loyalists within the armed forces or security sector, it's okay. They'll be okay. They'll be loyal to you. This, and so on. Major appointments in that government, I tell you, it's by Ousmane Sow. The First Lady have leverage in certain areas, but mostly it's Ousmane Sow and his state capture group. Then let's come to money. At the earliest of stage, I've got witnesses on this. This Islamization project. Continue and went and reassure. First trip to make a Barrow went and reassure the Saudis that he's going to continue the Islamization project. This is when Barrow started to talk about how many thousand mosques, 100 mosques. One, the trip. Go and look at the trip to Qatar. Go and look at what all the memorandum of understanding signed in Qatar, and go and understand how the Islamization project works. It's all part of this, and money was coming in. Ousmane Sow flew from Saudi, and this private jet that he was in with other people, he brought, when he went to Saudi, he went with a small hand luggage because it was a 2-day trip or three. He came with 3 escorted full with whatever dollars would be. That's when they went and dismantled the mosque in State House, build the mosque in NIA, build an NIA training center, build an NIA head office in Basse. And they were meant to build women gardens and others. That money was not accounted for. The ISIS, they don't have an audit report. They don't do an audit report. That's how Barrow got most of that money first. And obviously, other deals coming. There's one bit I'm not going to talk about now. I think, in fact, Barrow might be having more money because that project continue. He's having more money on that project than this. I'm not going to talk about it because there's a reason for that. This is how. And if you go and check how Ousmane Sow was appointed as SISD from the beginning. Someone else was appointed, withdrawn, and Barrow chose Ousmane Sow. Yes, Lawyer Darboe recommended someone else, and he was even appointed. I forgot the name. He was withdrawn, and Sow brought him. Now, you know the position of SISDG? It was not calculated. That's why it's not to the public interest to prosecute him for moment of madness. There's no damage done. If President Barrow coming to testify that his feelings were hurt, let President Barrow come out and testify that his feelings were hurt. If I am the defense, I will call up anybody who said he was hurt. Let them come on the deck and I'll cross-examine them. It was a moment of madness. It's not something he planned. He was provoked and he got there and he's human. And after he went out there and apologized to the profession, justice system, and he apologized to, for what he said. And to an extent, it might not sound nice, but it's a fact. The justice system allowed to be bastardized. And we came out from a dictatorship. You'll be angry. You fought. Yanks fought for that system to change. And that system continued to be bastardized. You think he doesn't have rights, so he says he's been bastardized? Why do you want to use the law to punish him for that? Why do we want to use the law to punish him for that? Even if he was wrong in doing that, he does not merit any other punishment. The humiliation that happens to him when he realized that he overreacted, that was enough. Or so other people perceive, for him to apologize, that's enough. It's not to the public interest to take this case to trial for all. But why the case was not brought to trial till now, or continue till now, I'll get to that. It's against democracy. Practice, good practice, because there's a motive for this prosecution. I'll get to that. It's not good governance. That's why I said when you go through all these motions, that's where you have applied good governance. See, this is not the public interest. What gain would the public have in this? It's waste of public resources. This guy have already realized the mistake he's done. He have grown. He have even gone and won and been elected. You see, if people are elected, there's something that should save them, protect them. They are representing people. It's representing one of the biggest demographics in the country. Apart from a presidential candidate, the Brikama Area Council carries the biggest endorsement. We have to remember that as well. That's why I said if we look at democracy, this is how we build our democracy. We have to have that tolerance, good practice. Best practice. And justice is an abuse of the justice system. Now, it's a selective justice. Selective justice is the abuse of the justice system. How many people have said worst in front of President Barrow? In front of President Barrow, they will by force have altered statements that are much serious that he should be charged for inciting. Inciting an entire communities to this. It's an incitement. When he talked about Mandinkas will kill the Jolas, will kill the Fullers, will kill, or whatever it is, or drive them out, or wherever you say, he should have been charged. Why was he not charged? Why was he not charged? How many others? I don't want to give the other people even relevance to call their name, but we all know what had happened during the election campaign. In front of President Barrow, when people stood in front of President Barrow and been televised. Have they ever been charged? Is that not selective justice? Recently, the person who is now ambassador to Russia, Ibrahim Sisi, what the statement of Ibrahim Sisi is more serious than what Yang said. We all had the audio where he said, in fact, what the statement he made is that President Barrow and the entire government or the NPP itself, they are all criminals. They have committed criminal offense. If they have lost the elections, they will be locked up. Why the president did not take him to court? Why the justice did not take that to court? Why? This is why we have to be very careful and understand what is going on. I'm going to get there. But again, we all seen the corruption that happened in that country. The most recent one, exposed, it's yesterday. The government should have sacked the Minister of Digital Affairs, Minister Ba, for fraudulently conflict of interest, and possibly even charge him. But no. But Gambians are not talking about that. All the corruption that every other minister, almost every other minister did under that government, they all became rich overnight. Nobody gets this thing because Barrow himself is the master of this corruption. Nobody gets charged. Nobody gets. And why? What justice are we talking about? What is more serious? What is more to the public interest than someone has said something that might offend President Barrow? Might. This is why us citizens, we should be very careful. Let us not allow the government to make this a UDP, NPP issue or UDP, Young's Darboe issue. This should be about justice. This is about maintenance of our democracy. This is about the good governance. This is what we should stand for. This is about protection of our democracy. This is why I am out. Recently, and I will get to that, probably not today, they're trying to cover up for the massive drug network. Remember, you see, when I do things, I know what I do, I calculate and hold on. And I'm holding on certain evidence. I thought they would come and deny certain things. And I am going to follow this. When I wrote that they have not, go and look at that article. 2 weeks ago, talking about the lack of prosecution for drug cartels or finding the drug networks. I knew what was coming. The government did not do this on their will. No, they are forced. The Spanish government, Belgian government forced them to do something. They knew all of these people are connected to the government. They have been sponsoring the NPP and others. That's what they do, criminality. That's why we talk about our justice. When our country turned to a narco state, the amount of money getting into the economy and distorting our economic realities, the inflation and everything, the house prices, land scarcity and everything because of these drug traffickers, drug barons. They don't talk about that. What it does to our children. We've seen the number of addicts in the Gambia now. And the name of that country. They don't talk about that. But let's take Young's Darboe for justice. That's not about justice. It's not about justice. No. That's why I'm saying, Gambians, it's to our interest to make sure we don't allow this thing to happen. Barrow is continuing. We call, you see, people will say the book of Yaya Jammeh. No, this is book of every dictator. Macky Sall, that's how Macky Sall turned to become the monster he became in Senegal. Overnight, turned around the entire gains of democracy in Senegal. About 5 decades of democracy building in Senegal. Overnight, targeting opponents, silencing everybody, targeting opponents. It was never interest of justice. We used to admire Senegal. We took Senegal as an example. Today, who will take Senegal as an example? Example of what one of the worst dictatorships we are witnessing. So far, almost 200 people don't even know, died or disappeared. We have seen the same thing as jungle has been used. The same thing. Go and look at the books. You can look at the corruption in Senegal today and how they use money to buy support and everything else. Look at over 2,000 people, opposition and others. It doesn't even happen in dictatorships. At the time, banning political parties and others, silencing the entire media. This is what is happening. This is where Barrow wants to go. And look, we are not going to stop this at Barrow. This is not Barrow alone. This is those people that control Barrow. This is those people that hijack Barrow up to now. And this, I can tell you, up to today, I cannot tell you exactly who they want to put as a candidate, but Barrow doesn't want plan. They did not plan for Barrow to run. They are pulling Barrow back. Now they are concentrating. The only viable, what they've seen as a viable opposition, now that's what they're going to go for. And now they're going to bring many other obstacles. And one of those obstacles is continue to polarize us, to divide us by tribe, trying to divide us by political, these things. That's why I will give my advice to UDP to be very careful. To alienate them. But if they alienate UDP, that's the opposition itself they alienate. That's what they're trying. So that they can have an easy right. Because they know that in any country that you have this the presence of what is present in the Gambia, that government should fall. That government should fall. The government have been bankrupt. They bankrupt that government. But they didn't care. They are giving money to Senegalese wrestlers. We'll get to that. Now, why did I say this is the NPP grand plan? They decided to cool off on this case because at that time there's no leverage for them to take on Yanks. Yanks was a lawyer at these chambers and they haven't seen anything. When Yanks ran for mayor, they thought about it. But no. At that time, this is again our advice, UDP. At that time, they know that UDP was galvanized. It's campaign period. If they went on for Yanks, and they thought, in fact, Yanks might not be the better candidate because they thought they can undermine Yanks. A better candidate might come out. Let's leave him. We will get him. Now let's wait for our charges. We'll get him. But if you think they're only going for Yanks, UDP should be ready and Gambians should be ready. They're not going for Yanks only. In UDP, they're not going for Yanks only. But I'll tell you, in the Gambia itself, they will go for other people. They perceived that going to be an obstacle for them for 2016 elections, 2026 elections. Now, this state capture, where we state capture, where the former SISDG Usman Sow have a central table, and I'll come to Usman Sow appointment. I keep on telling the opposition in the Gambia, read what is at play. Read what is at play, anticipate things, and do something about it. I keep on telling Gambian opposition that you don't just sit on your hands waiting for election campaign to come. You lose the elections. Elections, you prepare for it the day after the announcement of the results, you prepare for the next one. This is what Barrow and Yaya Jammeh is done, the Barrow is doing. They prepared for 2026. And what the opposition should be doing, UDP today should have been raising many other issues that so much so that these people will drown and they were not able to bring up any try to victimize. But no, because UDP have gone back again, sit on their hands. But not only that, they know the internal wranglings within the UDP. They know. I'll get to that. Let me just continue here. Now, this is the reason here. It's not Yanks. Yanks have not been a chairman or a mayor. Now, the commission, you know the commission they set up, the local government commission, They are going for Rahim Malik Law after the commission reports. They will go for Taliban Suda. They will go for the Lower River mayor, chairman. They will go for the former this thing, and they don't care even they might sacrifice their former mayor who was in Birkam. They might go for him just to say that they fair play. They're doing a fair play. They're doing a fair play. That's what they're trying to do. They'll go for those people because they knew that they are certain that there will be something in that report for them to take these people through the courts. And taking through the courts are two outcomes. One is not only to try to get a conviction, but to keep them busy and to distract UDP completely. Keep them busy, distract UDP completely. And they'll be going. Good afternoon, good evening, actually. It's me, Suleiman Ben Sware, coming back on Facebook Live on the Open Gambia platform. Mariama, if you can hear me, or Modu, can you just let me know, please, whilst I share this video? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just a minute. Good evening. Today is Friday, the 1st of September 2023, and time is just gone about 12 minutes to 9 o'clock in the evening in Birmingham, England. Coming back on Facebook Live on the Open Gambia platform. I was not meant to be on live today. I've just come back from work. But I want to do a brief analysis of the case of Yankuba Darboe and the Gambia government. And that's the importance of this matter. That's why I want to come on live to do this. I would not have come on if for any other normal circumstances. I take it as it needs urgency to come out and discuss this issue, because I believe I'm going to analyze. There's more to this, and I think most people did suspect that, but we need to speak about this because it's crucial for us to advocate against the abuse of justice. I'm going to say the abuse of justice because I'll digress into what is happening here. I would not support anyone against justice, where especially the justice is the interest of the greater good. What I will not do is allow any system or any people or group of people to abuse their powers, to use the justice system in order to penalize people or to victimize people for political gains or any other gains. The justice system is not meant for that. And the other part we need to be careful of to understand justice within a democratic context, especially a country that's said to be transitioning from a dictatorship. We have to be very careful on the context of what we're talking about. This is where I want to start with. It's about good governance. It's about good governance. I would not have come to advocate against any, for any person for that matter, if justice is to be served unto that person. No. But this is not about justice being served, and I'll get into details of why I said it's not justice to be served. This is actually about undermining democracy, selectively trying to use the justice system. And it's against good governance. It's against good practice. And this is destabilizing of our democracy. And we have to always remember we're supposed to be still in a transition. These are things that they do in dictatorship. We should not allow these things to go on. Let me first make a disclaimer. Youngs, I'll consider him as a brother and a friend. I have not campaigned for him because personally, it's my personal position that as for now and foreseeable future, I will not campaign for any person on a political party ticket. I have my reasons for that, regardless of what relationships we have. Regardless of what relationship we have. The second bit is to say why Youngs is a brother, is someone who I highly hold dearly because what I believe he stood for. I knew him here in the United Kingdom during the struggle. And he once approached me and we discussed, and from then on, that was probably less than 8 months to the elections, 2016 elections. That's the first time I spoke to Youngs directly. We have met at venues, demonstration and stuff like that, but we never linked up to anything. Since then, we had differences. We had difference of political views and others. But I respect him and he respects me. And I saw him fight genuinely and very trustworthy for that matter. Trustworthy for that matter because a lot transpired between us. And I can tell you that a lot transpired between me and a lot of people, especially in the struggle, and I will not stand here to vouch for them. No, I only vouch for Youngs because of that trust value and what I have witnessed, what he believed in. And secondly, as his profession, being an immigration lawyer, all the people I have ever introduced to Youngs came back satisfied with the services. And he has been very generous in giving that services, considering how difficult, the difficult times those people face. Not 100% outcome, I can say. Not one person came back. And we all know what lawyers are like, especially immigration lawyers, how they, these things. And I've never had any such negative when it comes to his professional or personal practice in the United Kingdom. I know him. For those reasons, I hold him there. Yes, he is young and he's got fire in his belly. He can be temperamental, and that's a genuine character of his. It's nothing he should be ashamed of. It's something that he should learn to control and grow with. And I believe he is trying and he's learning to grow with it. And I respect him for more, for going back and standing for what he believes and end up running for office. I respect him for all that. I respect him for all that. Wherever we disagree, we have our disagreements. He will consult, or if I need, I'll consult, we do that. That's not the reason I am here to speak about. If it was any other person, even someone I did not support or someone I did not hold highly, personally, it's the office and being a person and their rights and the institution of democracy I am here to defend. Why did I say institution of democracy? Democracy is about building. It's about building for it to mature. When a government decides to take a case, they have to test the case to see, is it in the public interest to pursue this case to the courts. And I can tell you, it's not to the public interest to take this case to the courts. And I'll give my reasons in a minute. It's not to the state interest. It does to no good to us. But not only that, I know of reasons why they are doing it. I know of reasons why they're doing it. And that's against our democracy. In playing, especially if you are in government, especially, you have a responsibility. When we talk about tolerance, it's not only between two people, but it's between how institutions will deal with things. Tolerance. We require the tolerance from a government, especially a government that took over from a dictatorship. We expect tolerance. We expect you to nurture. We expect you to try to build up a fair play. Best practice. These are the things that we aspire for. Not trying to look for opportunities to suppress people's career or eliminate people out of a race or in the political field. Some people might say, oh, that's politics. That's a small mind, a mind that lack of consciousness, thinking that a bad practice should be seen as anything but a bad practice. Why did I say that it's not to the public interest? What good would it do? What good would it do to public if Yanks end up being prosecuted and whatever the outcome is? Is it not to waste what lessons Yanks is going to learn? I think Yanks have already learned those lessons when he came and apologized for his utterance. Again, if someone behaved in a manner, we have to find out the reason why he behaved in that manner. And the reason, when we find out the reason Yanks behaved in that manner, most of us would have behaved in that same manner. Most of us would have. He was provoked to get there. Just to give a background of it. The government committed the offenses. The government abused their human rights to protest. They even went to the extent of seeking a permit to protest for the 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 journal. Whether you agree with the 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 journal or not, it's their right. They first went out and did a protest. Nothing happened. They did not. They went out again, seek a permit to do it. And they were given a permit. But the government spent millions in order to suppress that protest, which I came out and I came out and expose everything that the government did. And not to try to take credit for it, I can tell you, because of exposing what they did, it's one of the reasons they dropped the cases, because they cannot win that case in court. They had to drop the case. Because we all witnessed what they did. Provoked, attacked, maltreated, used, vigilantes and everything. Bright law enforcement officers to brutalize their own people, where they have the right to. They were reminded, they went through the process, and the government didn't have a choice but to release them because of they know that their case was exposed. What did they do? Now they started to maltreat them, to abuse them, release them, arrest them again. It was during this process. He's a responsible. They are responsible people. They have jobs, they have families and orders. We have to look at things. What if it was us or our family members? No, we should even look at justice. It's not right to be done, it should not be done. It was during this process. He rant. It's a rant. He did not come out, expose himself, sat down on a live edition to address an attack or insult. No. It was a moment of madness. It was not calculated.